Xin Jiao, and welcome back to Strike Fighter's North Vietnam. We are following our North Vietnamese ace Nguyen Van Coke as he flies MiG-21s with the 921st Red Star Fighter Regiment Flight 2 out of Kep Air Base in North Vietnam. The date is May 16th, 1966. This is 3 weeks after our previous mission. Happenings in the real-world timeline over the last couple months include the first B-52 strikes into North Vietnam, which happened back in April. And during this month, more and more advisors in Washington are recommending to the president that Rolling Thunder start including the bombing of POL storage, which is petroleum, oil, and lubricants. This is something that McNamara started to recommend a couple of months ago when he sort of realized that his Rolling Thunder plan wasn't going as good as he was claiming that it was. But LBJ deferred that for 3 more months, so we will see that beginning next month. The Americans targeting POL storage specifically for the first time during this war. In the meantime, Rolling Thunder continues with its limited bombing of White House selected targets. Today's mission objective is going to be to intercept an enemy flight approaching the Hai Duong warehouse and railroad yard, prevent the enemy flight from reaching its target. Call sign today will be the Tran Han flight. We'll be taking 4 MiG-21 F-13s, takeoff of 7:35 a.m., over the intercept at 7:51, and back to land at Kep at 8:04 in the morning. Back in aircraft 2040, once again, standard VPAF Silver 1 paint scheme and our normal MiG-21 air-to-air loadout. So 2 AA-2 ATOL missiles and a 490-liter centerline drop tank. Total takeoff weight, 17,220 pounds. Looking at the map, we can see it's a nice short-range intercept today, which is nice. That's a little easier on our fuel tanks. We don't have to go very far. We'll be taking off from Kep Air Base, circling around to the north as we get the flight together, coming around as we climb up to altitude, reaching waypoint 3. The game has assigned us 13,600 feet here for a nice high-level intercept. So we're going to do that today, but I'm going to go actually up to 8,000 meters, which is right in the neighborhood of 26,000 feet. So double what they've assigned us here, but we'll be solidly up in the high-level air, which is perfect for the MiG-21. If we remember, the MiG-21 has serious speed restrictions below 15,000 feet, so if we stay nice and high, we will definitely have the advantage over American aircraft. The downside being that we will be very obvious to radars and radar-guided missiles. So there's a bit of a trade-off there, but we'll see if maybe we can make it an effective attack today with the incoming aircraft. After waypoint 3, we head out to the east towards Hai Phong, and waypoint 4, our initial point, this is right over the target, this marshalling yard, the railroad yard that we're protecting, right here on the banks of the Cam River, just outside Hai Phong. Heading east from that point, out over the coast and into the Gulf of Tonkin, we should be intercepting the American aircraft somewhere right around waypoint 5 as they're coming in towards the target. Depending on the situation, as usual, I'll try to order my wingmen to attack certain targets, but really, during the intercept, it becomes a free-for-all, every man for himself. Once the intercept is complete, one way or another, we'll probably be out of missiles and low on fuel, so it's back out to the west. We'll circle around the capital region to head back to Kep and hopefully land with no problems up there. Finally, a look at our roster. Flying my wingman in Tran Han 2 is going to be Second Lieutenant Vu Ngoc Tran. Leader of the second element in number 3, Captain Vo Din Kai, and his wingman number 4 is Lieutenant Phan Phuong Thuc. Alright, the Americans are already on their way in, so let's get out there and get fired up. Let's go get them.
Cẩn hành dương xuống 330 1 giết mấy thằng chết được.
Tran Han flight on the runway, ready to go. We are cleared for takeoff, runway 30, and we actually have a headwind for once, which is nice to see. Coming in a couple knots at 330. Pushing to full power on our R11 engine. Afterburner engages as we begin our takeoff roll. Here we go, 200 kph. Nose starting to come up. There's 300, pulling back on the stick, and we lift gently off the runway. Gear up, and flaps up. We begin our climb out, up to 8,000 meters.
Cần hành.
Pitching up just above 15 degrees.
Ta thấy trong radar.
There's Back Yang out to my left, the city.
Một, số 2, tàu trên trời.
We're maintaining right at 500 kph in this climb. We'll let the nose come back down a little bit. There we go. Hold it steady right at 15 degrees. Make sure our radar is up and running. Again, that's not a true search radar. That's just our range-finding radar, but we do have to activate it in this aircraft to make sure it's in bore sight mode. We've only got 30 rounds to work with, once again, so we got to make sure that our computing gun sight is doing the best it can. Maximize our possibility of hitting something.
Một đàn ông, Hùng Sơn, tao ở trên trời.
I've talked a few times about Operation Have Donut, where the U.S. tested a captured MiG-21 against its own aircraft. Since we are now flying the MiG-21, let's take a look at some of the conclusions of performance against specific aircraft and see what the enemy planes might try to use against us. The classic matchup with our MiG is the F4. The MiG can turn tighter, but can't sustain the G as long as the F4 can due to excessive speed bleed-off. The F4 has superior acceleration and climb, and can outrun the MiG below 15,000 feet. By exploiting the MiG's speed limits, maintaining 450 knots, and using vertical engagements, F4s can maneuver into the MiG's blind cone to the rear and defeat it. F-105s were essentially told to run, unless they had a clear advantage behind a MiG. Prolonged turning fights were to be avoided. Hit-and-run tactics were to be used, with plenty of wingmen support, and F-105s could use their speed below 15,000 to separate from a fight easily. The report also notes that the APR-25 raw equipment doesn't detect the MiG's gun radar soon enough to warn of impending missile attacks. F-100s were at a severe disadvantage. It was recommended that they, again, go supersonic under 15,000 feet to escape, but if forced to fight, the MiG could outturn, out-accelerate, and out-climb the Super Sabre. The F-100 did have superior firepower, with its 420mm and Sidewinder missiles, but hit-and-run attacks and mutual support were considered essential. F-104s had faster acceleration and climbs than the MiG, but the MiG could outturn it at any speed and altitude. Zoom climbs and hit-and-runs were recommended, but if a zoom climb ended at a low speed, the F-104 was vulnerable to a counterattack by the MiG-21. F-5 Tigers were given a favorable review, the report saying that within certain limits, the F-5 had considerable potential for engaging the MiG-21. Below 15,000 feet and less than Mach 1.2, the F-5 had a performance advantage. The MiG had slightly better instantaneous turns, but the overall turn comparison was about equal. The report, possibly for the first time ever, suggests that the F-5 could be used to simulate the MiG-21 in training, which it famously went on to do at the Navy's Top Gun School. F-8 Crusaders were found to have similar acceleration and climbs to the MiG. The MiG had more instantaneous G, once again, but the F-8 could sustain higher G turns because it bled off less speed. It was also found that the MiG's speed brakes were less effective than the F-8's, meaning that the Crusader could slow down faster when it wanted to. However, below 510 knots, the MiG was able to gain an advantage every time if the F-8 attempted to close for a turning fight. Overall, the recommendations of the report were to force MiGs down to low altitude and high speed, using lag pursuit and vertical engagement. Slow-speed scissor maneuvers were to be avoided. Head-on attacks followed by oblique loop maneuvers were recommended instead of horizontal or yo-yo turns. This capitalized on the F-4's and F-8's better thrust-to-weight ratios and vertical performance, allowing them to maintain high energy and also keep the MiG in view as they reversed. The report goes into much more specific detail, but we can see that as a MiG pilot, I need to capitalize on turning, avoiding vertical fights, and keeping the fights at high altitude or at slow speeds if we get down low. It's also important to remember that prolonged fights are unadvisable, as American aircraft will have much more fuel available than me. So, a few turning fights, expend all my ammunition as quickly as possible, and then turn and head for home will be the best game plan every time. The MiG-21 was designed as an interceptor to take off, climb to altitude as fast as possible, reach the target as fast as possible, shoot it down, and then return to base, all within, just a couple of 100 miles. So these are the parameters that we need to use the plane in here in North Vietnam as well. Even though we're not intercepting American bombers coming into the Soviet Union, the plane has certain limitations because of the job it was very specifically designed for, so we have to try to avoid those limitations and maximize the strengths of the plane. And of course, that can be easier said than done when you're in a fast-moving combat situation, but as usual, we'll try to do the best we can with what we've got. Okay, we're up over 8,000 meters now, so we'll level out, hit the wing leveler, let the autopilot keep us at altitude, which is 8,000 meters, roughly 26,200 feet, and some change. We're up over 600 kph already. We are on course to the next waypoint, and we are right over the top of downtown Hanoi. Back my airfield down to the south there to our right, underneath the light cloud cover. We're at 2,100-ish pounds of fuel, so that means the drop tank's empty. So I'm going to punch it off now. Before we forget, there we go, light on means that the centerline tank has separated. And we are completely on internal fuel now. Okay, so way down to our right, yep, we have Air Force F-105s coming in from Thailand. And they're actually our closest targets right now, which is a bit of a problem. I mean, we do have limited fuel. I hope the Navy boys are coming in fast so we can intercept them and not have to hang out for too long, because this is not a loitering aircraft. Not at all. We gotta intercept as fast as possible and then go back home. We are not really designed to just hang out and wait for incoming American aircraft. Pull back the throttle a little bit more to try to save some of that gas. Second Lieutenant Vu in position out to my left. Captain Vo and Lieutenant Fan up high, 11 o'clock high, just right in front of the sun. Contrails marking out very clearly where we are to any Americans who might be looking, but that's okay. I mean, we're already on their radars anyways. Let's see, we got Hung Son flight out in front of us. They're just over the inner harbor of Haiphong now, so they'll be contacting any Americans first anyways. Maybe we can hit them with sort of a high-low pairs setup. The other flight is down low over Haiphong. Maybe entice the Americans to engage them, and then we can then dive down. Something like that. Or at least they'll distract the escorts, and maybe our primary targets will be a little bit easier to hit. Okay, there's waypoint 4, so we are directly over the railroad yards, right along the river. Now we're heading out to waypoint 5, out over the ocean. Still some ways to go. You can see that we're still clearly over North Vietnam. Coastline's up ahead, but we'll be over it soon enough. And hopefully, so will the Americans. We're down to exactly 2,000 liters of fuel.
Vận hành.
Oh, what the hell?
Điểm. Tiếp theo mạch 50 cây số.
Oh shit, primaries and even the nearest targets are still more than 50 miles out to my right. These guys might be the primaries. F8 Crusaders with bombs loaded. Oh shit. Canaan Air Base down to my right. Yeah, I mean, you can see, look at that, we're zooming right over Haiphong, heading out to sea, but we're basically going to be over the intercept point in just a few moments here. The Americans are still more than 50 miles away. Oh, shit. Okay, powering back a little bit more. I think we're going to make... Yeah. We're going to make a big circle here. Let's loiter over Haiphong. Well, maybe only once. Okay, we've got guys at 25 miles now, so that's not too far. I don't know if that's the primary target, so let's make one circle and keep it, or try to keep it over land a little bit. Maybe get some assistance from SAMs or AAA, and not just be out over the ocean where we don't have any help whatsoever. I'd rather be a little bit more over the safety of Haiphong to make the intercept, if possible. Bandits are 6 o'clock, 25 miles behind us, so they are getting close. But, I mean, it's not like they're in visual range yet or anything.
Vận hành Chiêu Việt Nhân 007 Gió đĩa ở trước 50 cây số 450 mét hướng bắc gió đĩa.
Thunder Chief's out at 38 miles. I don't know. That's not who we need to worry about. 10 o'clock at 25 miles down at 5,000 feet. That's either our target or their escorts. Those are Navy planes coming in, so that's who we need to pay more attention to. Okay, bandits, 12 o'clock, 20 miles out now. Okay, I think one circuit was enough. Let's just start heading out towards the American aircraft, and hopefully we'll just have a high closing rate. Be able to dive down on them, follow them back into North Vietnam, and not spend too much time over the water.
Vận hành
15 miles out, we have F4s down low ahead of us. There must be friendly MiGs that they're homing in on, because they're not climbing to meet us, so that's good. Either they don't know that we're here, or they're just ignoring us and going for maybe some closer targets. Pulled way back on the power. You can see we're only at 400 kph. I'm just holding the nose up, because I do not want to go too far out to sea. Hung Son flight coming back in from the ocean. They're either chasing these F4s or being chased by the F4s. F4s down at 7,000 feet, 4 miles out, so directly underneath us almost. Those other MiGs might... If they're chasing the other MiGs, maybe this is our opportunity to jump them. Let's go. Rolling over. Split S down. There, I've got visual on an F4. We're going to dive in right on them. Oh yeah, missiles are going out towards our guys. Let's dive to their help. I got a missile launch. We're diving at the water, full fucking power. Hopefully avoiding this missile. Oh yeah, oh man, it came in off the left. Smash into the water. Flight 1, engage air. Wingman, cover my 6. Let's move in on these guys. try to take out some of these F4s. If we can knock down the escorts, then either us or the other MiGs can maybe circle back and hit whoever our primary targets are. Missiles still coming in. I got something going down off to my left there, some sort of smoke plume. Picking up flak as we move closer into Haiphong and the coastline. Wow, this guy is really, really fast. Wingman firing at somebody, that's a good sign. That means they're in position close enough to be firing missiles. And apparently it is 3, because now he is Winchester, which is a call that he is out of missiles. This F4 is getting away from me, so I'm circling around because we got more F4s closing in and missiles exploding just off to my left as these guys launch radar and infrared missiles at me and my guys. There we go. Nope, that is a MiG-21, so I thought that was an F4, but it's not. That's a friendly. There's some aircraft out to my left. Looks like this F4 is on somebody's tail. Not good. Whoa! Jesus Christ. F8 just off to my left. Air brakes out. Can we pull in behind him? Oh, shit. No, we're just going to pull directly in front of him. Can we cut back and forth? Man. Did he see me? I can't tell if he saw me. I was hoping to do a sharp S right underneath his nose. Now I've lost him. Nope, he saw me because he's moved in behind. Going vertical, up and over the top of him. There you are, sucker. Shit, okay. Ooh, this is good. Right on a 6. Come on, missiles, lock up. Shit. Come on! Man, why are they not locking onto him? Jesus Christ. Too close, switching to guns. That's a hit! As the goddamn ATOL finally gets a lock. Apparently on the explosion of the fireball. Alright, looking for the next target. These F8s, these are F8Ds. These might have been... These might be our primary targets. They may have dumped their bombs and are now engaging us. It's a possibility. At this point, I don't care. It doesn't matter. We're just going to destroy as many planes as we can. Holy shit, we're under 1,000 liters of fuel already. Ugh. The R-11 is a thirsty, thirsty engine. Tracking this F8, he is right out there, 12 o'clock. Just above the nose there, just above the targeting reticule. What is that? We got a second thing coming in. Ooh, smoke plume out at 1 o'clock. Something big. I think this is an F4 off to my right as well. So we have 2 aircraft. Oh, shit. I think that's an F4, and I think he's showing me his ass. Oh, this might be our chance to get a phantom kill. Yeah, look at this guy. He's just boiling it out to sea here over Haiphong. I'm in full afterburner myself now. Let's try to sneak in behind him. Maybe we can get a missile shot on him. This guy is straight and level. Clear, well, semi-clear blue sky. Something out beyond him picking up flak. And we've got tone with the ATOLs. Let's get a little bit closer to make sure they actually work. Missile 1 is away. Failed to track. Missile 2. Closing right in on him. And it's a hit! Yes! AA2 hit right under the ejecting crew. And we got our first Phantom kill with the MiG-21 as he explodes over the island. And we've got a missile incoming, so no time to celebrate. Oh, blacking out over the coast. Jesus. No idea who fired or where that missile is. Let's just circle down towards the island here. I think whatever it is, we're clear. I've got something at my 12 o'clock high. And we've got something directly over us as well. Another F4. Maybe we can close for a gun kill now. Oh man, we got the red light on. We are super low on fuel. Whoa, F8! Shit! Sliding in right behind me. Fuck you. I have no wingman? Oh my god. Has everyone been shot down? I haven't even been paying attention. We've definitely lost Second Lieutenant Vu. I can't vouch for the other guys. Oh my god, we are so low on fuel. Oh, this guy's right on us too. There we go, look at that nice vertical barrel roll. Let's try to slide in behind him here. Oh shit, man. So I've got 2 on me. This guy is danger close. Come on, ground fire. Take him out. Damn. Alright, well this guy's definitely close enough for guns. We've got a radar lock. Computing gun sight is tracking. Pepper's right on him, and of course it's not calculating properly. Maybe as we come around. Man, Haifong is right underneath us here. Oh shit, missile launch. Fuck. Jesus Christ. Okay, we have like 100 liters left. We gotta go. Bugging out to the north. Here's Catby Airfield. Let's turn the radar off and just try to sneak away. Hopefully we have enough fuel to make it home. Oh, shit! Shit, 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 we've been hit. Oh, I'm losing control. Punching out. Oh, son of a bitch. Vertical stab and the wing blown off. And I have ejected over the outskirts of Haifong, actually almost directly over Catby Airfield. An aircraft 2040 buries itself into the ground just outside the airfield. God damn it. Wow. What a mission today. The good news is, Win Van Koch survived the ejection, even though it was at low altitude and the aircraft was spinning wildly. We did make it successfully, and we were able to, get trucked back over to Cap Air Base, which was not too far away from where we went down. But overall, not a great outing, and, this is 66 now. The Americans are starting to get a little bit more organized and better at what they're doing, and they just have a lot more aircraft than we do. And I suspect that our sort of golden hour is over. We had a lot of really easy MiG-17 missions, and I suspect there's going to be more like this ahead, than what we've been dealing with so far. But let's take a look at it. Our objective was to intercept an enemy flight of something I actually never even really identified what it was, but I think it was maybe those F-8s with bombs on board. Prevent the enemy flight from reaching its target. Flight time was 27 minutes and 40 seconds. Result, mission was aborted. 3 primary targets were destroyed. 4 MiG-21s were lost. So it seems likely it was those F-8s we were chasing, but this was not great. We only shot down 3 aircraft for a loss of 4, so, I mean, couldn't even make a 1-1 kill ratio this time out. Rating of failure score of 200. Stats for today, some silver lining in an otherwise black cloud is that, like I said, we got our first missile kill at all. Our missiles haven't worked at all thus far, and so first missile kill today, and it was an F4 Phantom, so our first Phantom kill at the same time. I did enjoy that part of it. I fired 17 rounds from my cannon, so half of the complement. I killed that F8, a non-maneuvering F8, as he was just climbing back out. Fired both ATOLs, one of which hit. My wingman, Second Lieutenant Vu, fired 28 out of his 30 gun rounds for a kill, and that must have been on an F8 as well. He fired both his missiles, neither of which hit. Captain Vo also fired both ATOLs with no hits, no guns fired, and then Lieutenant Fan, no weapons fired at all. So I really was not paying attention to who or what was going on with the wingmen once I started fighting, so maybe Lieutenant Fan there was the first to get hit before he could fire, and I don't know when exactly I lost my wingman. It wasn't until I tried to call him on the radio to cover me that I discovered that he was not responding. So sometime during all that, they all got shot down, and then I was the last to go. The consolation in all this is that our aircraft, these MiG-21s, they cost about a third or a quarter of an F4 Phantom. So, you know, even though we did lose all these aircraft today, economically, the Americans probably had a greater loss with one F4 and a couple of F8s, probably cost-wise, much harder to replace their aircraft than ours. But having said that, I mean, we still got to get them here from the Soviet Union, and with the Chinese intercepting shipments at their borders and scavenging them for parts and all sorts of crazy stuff, it's not easy for them to get here in a timely manner. So, you know, we can't just throw too many planes away because we got to keep the squadron active. And, you know, if we run out of planes or run out of pilots, they will deactivate us and the campaign's over, and I don't want that. So we do have to be mindful of our resources here. Let's look at the roster, and things not looking too good here as we look at our pilot list. First of all, Captain Vodin Kai, who is our number 3 today, killed in action, did not survive his shoot down. Our number 4, Lieutenant Fang Fung Tuk, also KIA. And finally, my number 2, my wingman, Second Lieutenant Vu Nyok Tran, also KIA. So all 3 wingmen killed today. I was the only survivor. 25% survival rate of our shot-down pilots. Second Lieutenant Vu was the only other pilot to get the air-to-air kill before he was killed himself, and I'm finding it very hard to get these pilots any kills or experience, you know, to make them better pilots. They just keep getting shot down, so that's frustrating. So we'll have to figure out the best way to maybe do that against these overwhelming American odds. We have a total of 5 killed pilots now in the squadron, and 1 wounded, Captain Lamb, who does have 4 kills. If he were to come back, I could maybe try to make him an ace, but he's been wounded for a while, so his injuries must be pretty bad still, because he is still recuperating and has not returned to active duty yet. Okay, a lot of confusion out there today, so let's take a look at the log. 7:51, we've got Crusaders and Phantoms firing Sidewinders. 2 Sidewinders at me. That I did not know. I knew that one was coming in, which we saw. It was off my left wingtip that we dodged, but apparently there was a second Sidewinder as well that I did not ever see. Another Sidewinder going at our number 4, that's Lieutenant Fan. Captain Vo fired both of his ATOLs at a Phantom at 7:52. neither of which hit. However, a Phantom fired a Sidewinder back at Lieutenant Fan at 7:53, and he was hit by that Sidewinder, shot down by the Dosan POL storage, and killing him, so possibly instantly since it was a missile hit. And we've seen in previous episodes that a missile hit actually does not guarantee a death, but today apparently it did. Apparently they were all direct hits and blew the airplanes apart maybe. Just seconds later during that same minute at 7:53:48, a Crusader fired a Sidewinder at Captain Vo. Again, that's our number 3. He was hit by said Sidewinder, and he was also shot down over Dosan PLL storage. Our remaining wingman, which was Second Lieutenant Vu, our number 2, he fired both of his ATOLs in 7:54 at an F-8E Crusader. So we were seeing Ds. I never even saw an E model Crusader, but apparently they were out there. So, I don't even know where that was, but possibly actually right near me since he was supposed to be covering my 6 o'clock. So who the hell knows? But he fires at the Crusader, he misses, and then he moves in with guns, and he actually hits the Crusader with the cannon, shooting it down at 7:54:58. Almost simultaneous to that happening, I was firing 30mm rounds at my Crusader, hitting it and destroying it out over the coast at 7:55 and 10 seconds. About 27 seconds later, Second Lieutenant Vu crashed near Kianan Air Base, and this doesn't quite give me the information that I would want to know. It's possible that he was dodging the Sparrow fired by an F4 a few seconds before, so maybe he was maneuvering and just crashed into the ground, or it's also possible that he was hit by that Sparrow by an airburst, not registering the hit here on the log, but maybe he spun in due to damage. It's not clear exactly what happened. Well, about 2 minutes later, I chased down that F4 Phantom, fired both ATOLs at it. One of the AA-2s hit the F4 Phantom 7:57:34, shooting it down over the east side of Haiphong. Unfortunately, while I was admiring my handiwork, this Crusader fired a Sidewinder at me, and that's when we dived down and started doing some twisting and turning, and things were going pretty good. If I had had more fuel, I could have stayed in that fight, and we could have maybe got that F8. It was so close, but I had to go. I was about to run out of fuel anyways. Honestly, I was so low, it's possible that I was about to bleed the tanks dry. I don't know if I would have made it back to base with the engine still running, because that was way, way too low. Not good fuel management this time out. But sort of a moot point, because guess what? At 8 o'clock and 16 seconds, I was hit by 20mm cannon fire from an F-8D Crusader, possibly the one that I was chasing, or his wingman. We saw that there was 2 of them there. I was definitely overwhelmed by American forces, and as soon as I turned to run to get away, they closed in on me and blew my tail off and the left wing with the Mark 12 cannon, and I was shot down. Well, it says near the Cat By munitions dump, but I mean we were literally right over Cat By, like the southern end of the runway. So there we have it. That wraps up today's mission. Not a success, but certainly a memorable one. I mean, we did get 3 of the primary targets, so it's not like we were inept out there. It's just overwhelming forces, and it wasn't enough to get over the threshold to call it a success. But, if those F8s, and maybe even the F4s, whoever the primary target was, if they were engaging with us, then that means they dumped their bombs. So we prevented the bombing of the target, which should be a success. We prevented the damage, and in the real Vietnam War, that was the majority of the time what the North Vietnamese pilots were just looking to do, was just to scare the Americans enough to make them jettison, and then the Vietnamese would scoot off and not even engage. I mean, that could be a tactic that we look at here, but we have to keep in mind that this is entertainment as well. And so episodes where I just run away from American aircraft, I'm trying to minimize that, because that's not really fun to watch. So let's strike a balance between actually fighting the enemy aircraft, but also surviving. So, maybe next time out we'll have better luck with that, and we'll try something, maybe some different tactics, real world or otherwise. Okay, well, thank you so much for joining me for this exciting mission. Wynn has been shot down for the first time. So maybe this is the perfect opportunity next time out to talk about when Win Van Koch was really shot down, because he was in real life and lived to fight another day, as many North Vietnamese pilots did. So tune in next time for more on that. Hope to see you then.